Alrighty, welcome back to Anatomy Videos with Will. We're going to learn the rotator cuff muscles. So I'm going to make sure that we can understand each little section of muscles. And so I'm going to try to draw them onto this area here for us so that we can kind of learn all about it. So let me see here if I can find a good little pen to start with. Oh gosh, this is the technology. Okay, so to start off, obviously we can see this down here is posterior. Wow, that was really big. And then up here, this is going to be your anterior view. So we're going to start on the posterior side, this side down here. Big thing to understand is we know that this here is going to be your glenohumeral joint, okay? So glenohumeral, we know this is the glenoid cavity, and then we know the humerus attaches there. So when I say glenohumeral joint, what do you guys think? It's the shoulder joint, right? So through this little socket here, you're going to see, I'm going to see if I can't draw the head of the humerus. Okay, there we are. You guys are getting prime artistry going on here. Perfect. Okay, let's change our color to, for the first muscle, we're going to change it to this blue color, because blue is my favorite color. Well, except purple. Okay. First muscle we're going to talk about in the rotator cuff muscles. This is its own group. There's 4 different muscles, and I want you to write them all down. So I'm going to write up here 4 muscles. 4 mus. That's what I'm going to say for you guys. So over here we have, we're going to start on the posterior side down here. We have the first muscle as supraspinatus. Okay. So I'm going to write that here. Supraspinatus. Yeah, that might not work. It's okay. We're going to do it together. Anyway, so this muscle is actually, every muscle will originate and insert. So the muscle originates at the supraspinous fossa of the scapula. And so we know where that is. It's going to be above here in this area. Remember, supraspinous, superior to the spine of the scapula. And it's going to insert on the greater tubercle of the humerus. And now we know where the greater tubercle is, right? It's on the humerus. So let's just say that my art is beautiful and it actually goes down and attaches there. I'm sure the humerus is actually a little bit higher than where I've put it. It's okay. It works out just fine. This is what notes you're going to take. So it originates the supraspinous fossa of the scapula, and it inserts at the greater tubercle of the humerus. All right, that is supraspinatus. Remember, we're talking about supra is superior or above, and spinatus referring to the spine of the scapula. Okay. The second muscle that we're going to find on the posterior side, let's use contrasting colors, is the infraspinatus. You guys probably saw that coming, huh? So let me see if I can't write this one. Just remember, infraspinatus. That actually worked out really well. Okay. This muscle is going to originate at the infraspinous fossa, or infraspinous. I say spinous, it's not how it's spelled. Infraspinous fossa of the scapula, which we know is this valley right here. So I'm going to see if I can't color this in. This muscle attaches all along through here, pretty much from this medial margin all the way to the lateral side. Let me see if I'm going to color it in a little bit more. And it inserts at the greater tubercle of the humerus. So again, we have these two muscles attaching at the greater tubercle of the humerus. And why do you guys think that is? Because it's your rotator cuff of the shoulder. So it's going to be rotating your arm. So the function of these muscles is the supraspinatus is going to do a little bit of abduction, and the infraspinatus is going to do lateral rotation. Lateral rotation, obviously, is just rotating that shoulder to the lateral side. Okay. Now that we have those down, let's jump up here to our posterior or our anterior side. Let's use greenish. Green, also one of my favorite colors. And maybe we're gonna jump up the size of the pen here. Okay. You know what? Let's go back. We still have one more muscle to talk about in the posterior side. I am so sorry. We're gonna stay down here. The last muscle that we want to talk about here in the rotator cuff. Okay, not the last muscle. The last posterior muscle is going to be the teres minor. Okay, teres minor. Its origin is teres means round and minor means lesser. It's about the size of your pinky finger. So the origin of this muscle is the upper lateral margin of the scapula. So we're talking about the lateral margin, and it's the upper. So we're gonna say it's like right here. Whoa, that's a lot of ink there. It's okay. I think that's gonna work just fine. And it inserts at the greater tubercle of the humerus. So let's just draw it up to the greater tubercle. And there you go, the teres minor. So that also does lateral rotation. Easy enough, right? Let's continue to get the eraser out, get all this garbage off the screen, so we can go to the actual anterior side, which we only have one muscle in the rotator cuff that's going to be on the anterior. So let's jump up here. We have subscapularis. Okay. Subscapularis. Oh, you guys are so awesome to work with me. Okay. It originates at the subscapular fossa. So we know the subscapular fossa is this big valley area right here. It's a fossa. So this is where the muscle is going to originate. And then it inserts at the lesser tubercle. So if this was the anterior side of your humerus, you have the greater tubercle and the lesser tubercle. And let's jump back to this color, and we're going to attach this muscle at the lesser tubercle. And there we are. You have the 4 muscles of the rotator cuff. I have some funny stories where clients will come in and they're like, my rotator cuff is hurting. And I'm like, where is the cup? Anyway, it's not. That's kind of mean. Don't be mean to your clients. Okay. This muscle is going to do lesser. Whoa, what am I talking about? Medial rotation. So this is seriously cool muscle because you can't actually get to this muscle without getting underneath the scapula. If you were working on someone, if they were laying face down, you'd have to like dig underneath, or if they were laying face up, you'd have to get into their armpit and touch the anterior side of their scapula. So remember, subscapularis means below the scapula. Infraspinatus is below the spine or inferior to the spine, and then supraspinatus is superior. And then teres minor is one of those random muscle groups that's going to be in the rotator cuff. And that is it for rotator cuff. A way to remember this really easily, people like to call it their, let's see here, sits muscles. Why do they call it their sits muscles? Because you have supraspinatus, infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscap, which is just short for subscapularis. So there is your rotator cuff. I know it's kind of gross and confusing, but it gives you a good visual of where those muscles lie, where they originate, and where they insert. Remember that. It's going to be important for the future, and I want you guys to share this with someone you love so you can remember and have a wonderful